Hello, hello, and welcome to At Home with Lucas. So today we're going to be talking about counterculture, and in particular, we're going to talk about their fast-forward whole bean coffee. Yes, people, super excited to put this coffee to the At Home with Lucas test. I've been told it's really good, and I'm in the market for some different coffee. I'm kind of getting bored of all the normal coffees out there, so I'm grabbing coffees that are a little bit different, and I'm trying to really get a good understanding of where the coffee landscape is at, because I am still on track to sip test every coffee on the planet. Yes, people, if you know a good coffee, comment down below. Let's start a conversation and get going. Also, click that like button and join the At Home Lucas family. Hit that subscribe button. All right, so in this video, we're doing a hands-on with the bag. Then we're gonna cut that bag open and take a look at those beans. After that, I'm gonna be putting these bad boys to the At Home Lucas test to figure out, are these something you should buy and drink, or maybe skip altogether and get a different bag? All right, let's go ahead and jump into it.
All right, let's take a closer look at this bad boy right quick. This is Counterculture Coffee. Fast forward, this is a nutty, sweet, creamy. That is what's up, people. Organic, whole bean coffee. This is 12 fluid ounces right here. This bag was $1.04 per ounce, so kind of expensive. Here's a little bit of more information. Little bit of more. Take a look at the back right here. Oh, this was founded in 1995. Nice. Oh, there you go. All right. Pause it if you want to read it, people. There is the roasted date, and there is the best by date. I like when they put the roasted date on there. That is really nice. Okay, this is definitely not a easy peel open. You're gonna have to cut this for sure. It's been completely sealed all the way up here, which is gonna be good for keeping these beans fresh. Also, this one-way valve is definitely doing its job. All right, there we go. Look at those Artisan beans right there, people. Wow, holy bejesus. Those are very Artisan. I keep buying beans lately that are just completely Artisan beans. All right, let's take a closer look. There we go. So these are definitely Artisan beans. These are medium, if not small beans. So these are specialty grown and specialty roasted for sure. They're a little bit darker than some of the normal Artisan beans, which means they roasted them a little bit longer, which is good because I'm a fan of a dark roast. And these look like they're going to be medium to dark, I would guess. Specialty beans, because typically you see giant beans with all the big companies out there. They tend to get those large beans that can take a harsh roast and still have some really good flavor, whereas smaller companies will buy these beans. I actually bought some small green coffee beans a few years ago, and I was roasting them with a popcorn maker, believe it or not. Yes, you can roast beans with an air popper. Yeah, you can see actually some of these are a little bit larger than others, so there could be a blend in here of two different beans. All right, coming up, we're gonna throw these bad boys into the burr grinder and see how they break down. All right, let's take a closer look at these grounds, people. Ooh, yeah, the smell that's coming off of here is very fruity bitter. That's the smell I'm getting. It's very bitter, has kind of like an acidic smell to it, a little bit of like fermented fruit smell. It's very interesting. You can see that it's got that like rind or husk just kind of floating around, very much like a blonde roast. That's usually what you see. I can think back to some Starbucks blonde roasts that were covered in this stuff. Beautiful color too. Look at that color. That is what you really want to see. Very rich. It broke down very uniform too, so that's a great breakdown right there. Not a lot of jagged edges. Very uniform, very smooth looking grind. Yeah, 2 thumbs up. All right, here we go. We got our 1/8 scoop or 30 milliliter scoop. I'm going to be putting 4 of these bad boys into my coffee gator pour over maker right here. This thing is a true machine that I've been using for years and years and years. So we're just gonna go ahead and load this thing up real quick with 4 scoops. Boom shakalaka. Kazam. Whoop-pow. Okay, so for optimal pour over, you want to let your coffee kettle cool down to about 190. That's going to be optimal for pour over. If it's any hotter than 190, it may actually burn those grounds you just spent all that time grinding and result in a coffee that does not taste as good. Okay, here we go. The first pour is just going to be soaking all of your grounds. If you're new to pour over, I'm going to walk you through how to do it really easily. So you just want to soak everything. If you've ever done a French press, this is very, very similar. It's not really going to tell you much right here. You just want to make sure everything is nice and soaked and let it drip down and drain a little bit. And then you're going to hit it with the first pour, which is going to tell us a lot. The higher up it plumes, the larger it sort of blooms up, the fresher and better the beans. And then of course the color that comes from that will also tell us a little bit more about the quality and whatnot. So here we go with the first hit. Woo! Look at that blooming right there. Look at that plumage, that crema-like appearance. Looks like the top of an espresso shot. Of course it's not. That's just all of the CO2 being released and whatnot. But there you go, you can see that light color is what you're looking for. And then you come down here and you've got a very, very nice stream. That is definitely looking like more of a medium roast, I would say. Yeah, very, very interesting. So you want to do all of this within about 3 minutes. So if you're new to pour over, just set a timer for 3 minutes and see if you finish at 3 minutes. If you don't, and it's around 5, just speed it up a little bit. You want to be doing this quickly so that you get the best flavor in your cup at the end. There we go. Look at that, people. That is very nice looking. Definitely a medium roast. It's got some light notes in it too, so it's going to be a lot lighter. All right, so we're going to be going to 500 milliliters up there. So 4 scoops at 30 milliliters a piece, 500 milliliters of water. That is the coffee to water ratio. All right. So this is definitely holding more water than typical pour overs. So usually the water has already run out completely by this point, but this one is actually holding it, which means the beans are absorbing as much water as possible and then allowing it to flow out slower, which could produce a much more flavorful cup of coffee. So that is looking really nice so far. All right, we're almost to the 400 mark. All right, let's hit it with the final pour right here. This is gonna push us right up to the 500 mark. Yeah, that is probably the lightest crema I've ever seen. This is definitely a medium roast for sure, without a doubt. Yeah, you can see right there, that is a medium roast. All right, so that's gonna trickle down and hit 500. Okay, so believe it or not, there is an optimal temperature for your sip, for your coffee. So you want to actually let your coffee cool down to about 140. That's going to give you the best flavor and the best enjoyment. If you go over 140, you're actually going to lose flavor notes that are hidden in cooler coffee. So go to 140, start drinking your coffee, and enjoy the best cup that you've ever had.
Right, let's get into this sip test, people. So it still smells very similar to the ground coffee that I was smelling a minute ago. It definitely has that sort of like fruity, earthy, sort of bitter smell to it. It smells like it's going to be a little bit harsher than I typically run for. So let's go ahead and get into this sip, people. Okay, all right, woo, that is complex. Okay, there is a lot going on in that sip, people. Whoa. So you got this bitter, you got this sweet, you've got like this sour, almost sour taste that's flowing all the way up the roof of my mouth. So you got like this sour up the roof, you got a little bit sweet going down the tongue. It's thick coffee for sure. It definitely goes down in a motion that is not necessarily, yeah, it's very complex. Wow, okay. Yeah, it's very bitter. That is so interesting. Okay, so it's bitter sour as it flows back. And then the aftertaste is, ooh, this is very interesting coffee. It's very complex. There's a lot going on here. Yeah, it's definitely got like this wateriness to it. So when it flows through your mouth, it's thick, but it also is thick like water, not like, you know, like thick coffee. So it has like this weird flow to it. There's flavor notes that are now popping in and out around my molars that are completely different. Sweet notes, very interesting cup of coffee. I've actually been drinking this in my Philips Super Automatic and it does not taste anything like this whatsoever. Not a single bit like this at all. Wow, that is very interesting. Yeah, there's definitely some fruity notes. There's some bitter, sour notes that are in there. Very much similar to the Black Rifle Coffee Company. I think it's the beans. So when you get that husk on there, I think that adds something to the coffee that other roasters sort of burn off and they get rid of, and they don't want that. Also, some beans just don't have as much of that on there. So I'm thinking that this is the result of it being a little bit more of a blonde roast. But typically blonde roasts are a little bit sweeter. So it's interesting that this is a little bit more sour. So this is definitely a medium with the husk, which I think is adding some bitterness to it, some sourness to it. But yeah, it's definitely a cup of coffee that is so unique that for you, you may be like, oh, this is my coffee, I can't get enough of it. But for someone else, they may be like, ooh, that's not for me. So it doesn't have that taste that's gonna hit everyone. And typically people are either bitter or sweet. They want that bitter coffee hit or they want that sweet coffee hit. Those are like the two most common people. And so if you can do the two of those, where you give them the bitter and then the sweet, the bitter-sweet, then it's much more uniform. So everyone's gonna be like, ooh, this is a good cup of coffee. Yeah, it's weird. It's watery and thick, which is not normal. Normally it's one or the other. It's thick or it's watery. It definitely does not go down super smooth. You get a lot of bitter choppiness that's going on. That fruity flavor, that smell, that fermented smell that I got from the ground coffee is definitely in this cup right now. It's definitely all over the place. So this is definitely a very, very unique taste. It's definitely something that's going to stand out from the pack. You're definitely going to be like, ooh, this is not a Starbucks cup of coffee. This is something completely different. Yeah, this is definitely a cup of coffee that has a little bit lower caffeine. It has a lower impact on you. It has a quality to it though. There is a quality that's up there. So it's not low quality. It's not just junk. The flavor is precise, and they tailored each bean, each roast. Everything tastes like it's been designed to taste this way. Yeah, so I'm gonna say that in the Philips Super Automatic, way better flavor, much more enjoyable, closer to just a normal cup of coffee. In the pour over, it is a different animal, and that's why I always love going with the pour over, because you get all those flavor notes that come out when you do a pour over, and you get this real simple, true cup of coffee. Yeah, so this is not going to be my 5-star cup of coffee. This is not my I have to have this all day long cup of coffee. This is definitely a cup of coffee that is going to break up your norm. So if you're drinking your favorite cup of coffee and you want to break, and you want that third cup to be something completely different, palate cleanser if you will, then definitely buy this bag and drink this coffee. If you're someone who is interested in that like cup of coffee that doesn't taste like a normal traditional cup of coffee, then this is the one for you. If you want that artisan flavor, you want that unique hit, this is the one. Definitely buy this one. For me personally, I'm going to give this a 4.5 star rating. I'm going to say that it's not dark enough, it's not strong enough, it doesn't hit me hard enough. It's well blended in the aftertaste. So like as I'm talking right now, I'm like, ooh, everything in here is tasting fine. It tastes well blended, but when you take that sip and you get that first aftertaste, it's like, and I need that strong coffee taste. Like, I gotta have that reminder that I'm drinking coffee. This doesn't have that like super strong coffee taste. I'm not gonna give it that big stamp of approval. I'm not gonna say that this is an all-day cup of coffee. This is not a TGIM, thank God it's morning cup of coffee. This is a cup of coffee that you may buy and go, boom, 5 stars, it's mine. If you want that unique cup of coffee, this is the one you should buy it. If you want that like harsh hitting cup of coffee, this is not the one. If you want that sweet cup of coffee, this is not the one. It's right down the middle. So it's an Artisan roast 100%, and I applaud them for what they did. I love the bag, I like the brand name, I like all that. I just don't think this is the best cup of coffee in the world, and it's not my 5-star cup of coffee. But you may buy it and love it, so spread the word, share this video with other people, and yeah, I want to say buy it. That's how I do all of my videos. Maybe buy it. All right, there you go. That's the counterculture. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely click that like button. And if you want to join the Adam Lucas family and you want to be a part of this crew, hit that subscribe button. Every time I get a subscriber, I get a boost to make more and more videos. It's because of you guys, I surpassed 5K. Yes, people, going strong, on my way to 6K, but I can't do this alone. I need your help. Yes, you right there. Tell your friends, tell your family, this guy's on YouTube. They should go subscribe and watch my channel. But as always, I thank you for watching each and every one of my videos, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.